Κύριος Ademar Welter, ο οποίος είναι ο Business Development Manager για την αγορά Marine όλη την Ευρώπη για την εταιρεία WEG.
So thank you, UTECO, for this invitation to present here today. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So what we see in the maritime industry is an ever-growing demand for more efficient and cleaner systems, which will help ship owners to save on fuel, improve competitiveness, and minimize their environmental footprint. But at the same time, of course, the equipment on board must be reliable, easy maintenance, and minimizing downtime. So this should be our goal at WEG. That's what we do, what we focus on, is to develop energy efficient, easy maintenance, and reliable electrical motors, generators, drives, and automation systems, which I would like to briefly introduce to you today during this presentation. So this is our agenda for the next half an hour. I hope I can manage. So I will first make a brief introduction about our company, what we do, who we are, and what we can represent for your business. Then I will shortly introduce our different lines of electrical motors, generators, and propulsion systems. And in the end, I will show you some references and one last slide about our global service network. So WEG is originally a Brazilian company. The name WEG actually comes from the initial letters from the three founders, Mr. Werner, Mr. Egon, and Mr. Geraldo Werninghaus. It's a company started in the south part of Brazil. So if you think of Rio de Janeiro, fly 1,000 kilometers south, then you are in our headquarters. I was born 45 kilometers from the headquarters, so for me it was easy to finish university and start at WEG, so it's still my first job. So what started with these three gentlemen, each one invested at the time an equivalent of one Volkswagen Beetle to start up the company. Nowadays, the company generates about 4 billion euros annually. So from 1961 to today, it's quite an achievement. So, and everybody, all the Brazilians and all the colleagues around the world are, of course, very proud of that. Here there is an aerial view, a picture from our headquarters in Brazil. This is actually the largest manufacturing plant of electrical motors in the world. We also produce drives, generators, and other equipment over there. But it's the biggest in the world for motors. It's about 1 million square meters of area. It's about 1.5 kilometers extension, the total plant over there. So we produce about 60,000 motors per day. We don't even know where all these motors go, but it's huge. Just to give you an idea, it's about 14,000 containers of products shipped every year. This diagram represents our business. It means that we engineer, manufacture, and deliver turnkey solutions for power generation, so complete power plants, can be hydro power plants, biomass, solar, wind. Then we have transmission and distribution, transformers and substations, maneuverability and protection, so breakers, switches, contactors, UPS, energy conversion, torque and speed control, frequency converters, industrial automation and machine safety. Then down to electric traction and Propulsion. So we build motors, drives, and generators for cars, buses, ships. We also have a line for building and infrastructure, so power outlets, light switches, etc. And one line for coatings. So initially we started producing our own painting and coating systems, varnishes, resins, insulation systems for our own products. But then after a while we start selling the excess, so nowadays it's also a big business for us, especially in Brazil, where we supply thousands of liters of paintings, for example, to paint complete ships and FPSOs, etc. So we are organized in 5 business units: motors, automations, energy, transmission and distribution, and coatings. At the motors division, we have industrial and appliance motors for air conditioning, washing machines, electric gates. It's very diversified. Also for industrial applications, of course, low voltage motors and high voltage motors. Then we have an automation division for products and also systems. But talking about products now, as you can see, we have controls. So starts, and protection of electric motors, fuses, capacitors for power factor correction, drives for speed variation, soft starters, machine safety, sensors for industrial automation, building and infrastructure, and critical power. So also UPS systems. Besides the products, the components, we also produce systems in automation. So where we apply to energy, sugar and ethanol, chemical plants, steel plants, and shipbuilding, of course. At energy division, in this business unit, we produce generators. So generators for hydropower plants, for turbo, for solar, biomass, gas. And we have a division for transmission and distribution where we build transformers. It can be oil transformers, dry type transformers. And the coatings divisions, where we have different lines of coatings, powder coatings, liquid coatings, insulation varnishes. You can see from the pictures that we sell this to several different industries and markets. The automotive market, the marine offshore, oil and gas, industrial, buildings, and so on. This is our global footprint. You can see on the blue dots the places where we have commercial branch offices, and the orange is the factories where they are located. So we have 35 factories in over 11 countries, 25 branches spread around the world. Actually, we are present in more than 135 countries already. So besides Brazil, where we have 8 manufacturing plants and our headquarters, we are also present in South America, Argentina, Colombia, Central America, and USA. So also Mexico and US. And in Europe, we have a huge factory in two big factories in Portugal, specialized in ATEX products, so explosion-proof motors, drives as well. We have in Austria a facility for gearboxes and motors. In Spain for drives and automation. 3 factories in China, then talking about Asia. 1 big factory in India, mainly for high voltage, higher output power motors and generators. And also we're present in South Africa for mobile substations, gensets. So numbers, just to give you an impression about WEG. We count with 30,000 people, more or less. Majority are located in Brazil, because the headquarters is there. But 3,600 in North America, and 1,000 in Europe and Middle East, 600 in Africa, and about 3,000 in Australasia. We count with interesting engineering workforce, so it's about 3,000 engineers. So we have a lot of engineering manpower, but we can do a lot of developments and engineering work. Out of our revenue, you can see from the graph that we reinvest back into research and development about 3% of our net revenue every year. We cooperate with a lot of universities around the world. The main ones are in Germany, so Hanover, Aachen, and Wuppertal. But we also have a good cooperation with schools in Zurich and universities in UK. And of course, all the universities in Brazil. We have good cooperation with them, and they supply a lot of manpower for us. So, like me, people finish university and they get a job offered at WEG. We have all the marine certifications, so we can do projects anywhere around the world. We cover all certifications. We deal with all marine certification societies. Then I go briefly through our product lines. So let's talk about motors now. We have the W22 line. This is a general purpose motor line for all kinds of applications like pumps, compressors. It's very versatile. It's in line with all the European efficiency regulations from IE1 to IE4. We even have IE5 nowadays. That it's good to mention that it's an induction motor that can deliver the same efficiency level as a permanent magnet motor, for example, so with half of the cost, let's say. We have a line for open drip-proof motors, IP23, that we see a lot being used, purchased for bow thrusters, for tunnel thrusters applications. We have an IP55 totally enclosed motor up to frame size 500 in cast iron, also for multi-purpose applications, up to 2.2 megawatt in low voltage and high voltage. This is our optimized medium voltage motor. It's of modular design, so we can build open, closed with water cooling, air cooling, forced ventilation. It's very versatile, but it's modular, so it's very interesting for the market because it's very competitive. And this line goes up to 16 megawatt we can build. We have a line of water jacket cooled motor. This is a product that we have since the last 10 years, but last year we launched the generation 2 of this motor, so we optimized the cooling system, and nowadays this is the most compact motor in the world because it can deliver more power on a much smaller frame. So if you compare to any of our competitors, you see that our motor is much lighter and it can do much more torque and power on a smaller frame. So of course for ship owners, ship operators, this is very interesting because it directly helps to save on fuel. And we have the master line, which is fully customizable, and here there is no limit. We can build up to 50, 60 megawatt. So we offer very often this for cruise ships, for example, now where you're talking about 18, 20 megawatt generators and motors. And we have a line for explosion-proof motors, EXT, mainly built in Portugal, that we offer, for example, to oil rigs and to refineries or to cargo oil tankers, for example, where you need hazardous area classification. We have a complete line of generators. For trucks, for aircrafts, for industrial applications, and of course for the shipping industry. So we have for the shipping industry, we have the AN10 line, which we supply to platform supply vessels, OSP recovery vessels, anchor handling tugs, pipe layers, dredgers, tankers, ferries, you name it. And a higher output line, that's mainly, we use it then for the larger vessels, for big ferries or cruise ships. Now talking a little bit about propulsion systems, sometimes we're lucky to get the complete package. So we can sell everything that is highlighted on this diagram. This is an example of a single line diagram of a typical diesel-electric propulsion system on a vessel, where we supply the generators, the motors for the bow thrusters, for the main thrusters, the drives, the frequency converters, the phase shifting transformers, main switchboards, and so on. So when we do that, then we help the customer also with a lot of engineering. For example, here the customer wanted a motor to start a jet pump on a dredger, and also the generator. So we calculated for him what should be the size of the generator able to start up that motor with an auto transformer in the middle. So we gave him all the parameters, all the calculations, and then he went to the auto transformer manufacturer. This is what I want. So this is how we cooperate in packages like this. Here is another example, a generator that we designed for a cruise operator, for a cruise vessel. It was an 18.3 megawatt generator for a cruise ship, where we have to meet several criteria from that engineering department, like the reactances for voltage regulation, for harmonic levels, efficiency, insulation has to match between the motor and the generator. So when we do a project like this, that we are responsible for the complete system, then there is never a situation where, for example, if you have a motor from one manufacturer, a generator from another, one will try to blame the other if something happens. No, in this case, it's a WEG scope, so we take care. Low voltage drives, we have a complete range of low voltage drives up to 3.7 megawatt we can do in 69 volts, and above that here's a picture of a complete drive mounted, already finished for delivery. We have also solutions in medium voltage up to 13.8 kV. So you see, for example, in the case of the cruise ships, they are always in 11 kV. We also have a solution for that. Soft starters, we can do up to 13.8 kV and 24 megawatt. And the phase shifting transformers, dry type transformers, used on our own frequency converters. So they can be installed inside the panel or in a separate cubic. Now to close, I would like to show some latest references that we have. Vasaline, this RoPax ferry is the latest one we signed last week, actually, where we are going to deliver 4 shaft line generators, 4.6 megawatt each, low voltage, 690 volts, 8 poles, and also the bow thrusters. We have a frame agreement, for example, with Carnival Corporation for cruises, for their cruises who number 696, 709, 710, 1394, 1395, 9697, where all OEMs around the world, if they are going to supply for these vessels, they have to come to WEG to order the motors. So we made an agreement directly with the owner for that. This is a reference from a dredging vessel that we finished recently in the Netherlands, where we are supplying the main generators, the boosters for the electrical motors, the stern thrusters, the jet pump motors, and the hydraulic pump motors. Here's a picture from the factory acceptance test in Brazil, not so long ago. Another reference from the Netherlands, 2 trailing suction hopper dredgers for Adani ports in India, where we are supplying the main auxiliary and emergency generators and the jet pump motors. Here's some pictures from inside the vessel where you can see our generators and motors. We have some references in Norway as well. We are delivering directly to Equinor or via some OEMs. For example, we have references in the offshore platform Troll A, B, and C, where they have big references there with Equinor. This one, for example, for Troll B, we delivered a 10.8 megawatt motor, 11 kV. Here's a picture from from their platform where the motor is installed now. And we have some references for painting. Here you can see this vessel we painted completely for Petrobras, before and after. So we delivered 22,000 liters of paintings and varnishes only for this project. A reference from a floating production storage offloading vessel, let's say, FPSO. This one we did with SBM in Singapore, Brazil, and the Netherlands, where we delivered 14 medium voltage motors, 300 low voltage motors, all the switchboards, medium voltage, low voltage, all the transformers, stainless steel panels, UPS, power management system, and several motors via all the OEMs, like Suzer, KSB, and Manturbo. And for this one, I have a small video I would like to show you because it's more interesting to see a video, I think.
Oil and gas production of the Djibouti oil field with water depths up to 1,300 meters in extreme working conditions Oil and gas production of the Djibouti oil field with water depths up to 1,300 meters in extreme working conditions created a technical challenge for Petrobras, Brazil's largest oil producer. They contracted single buoy moorings, an offshore supplier headquartered in the Netherlands, to design and build P-57, a floating production, storage, and offloading unit. WEG partnered with SBM and was selected as the main supplier of the electrical equipment and supervision systems for the essential operating equipment on P-57. The equipment was produced at WEG's main facilities in Brazil, then, after extensive testing, was sent for integration with the platform at the shipyard in Singapore where P-57 was being built. Efficient communication between WEG and SBM helped the complex project meet its tight construction schedule. WEG supplied supervision and safety subsystems as well as motors for gas compressors. WEG motors were also used in oil, water, and firefighting pumps, and some general-purpose pumps. All products for this project met requirements for ABS certification, and most of the equipment also required certification for use in hazardous locations. Projects with international partnerships can often be complicated. WEG's international operations and long experience in working with organizations worldwide allowed them to meet the requirements for P-57. Orders and equipment flow from country to country until the products reach their final destination. The P-57 project required a high level of cooperation between WEG, SBM in the Netherlands, and Petrobras in Brazil. This level of collaboration ensured a complete solution in electric motors, automation, energy transmission, and distribution and coatings for the oil and gas sector. The P-57 platform will operate at Parque das Baleias at the north of the Campos Basin, extracting 180,000 barrels of oil and 2 million cubic meters of gas per day. A source of pride for Brazil, P-57 represents state-of-the-art technology resulting from high levels of cooperation between Brazilian and international organizations. This platform, along with others already operating in deep waters, will provide the country with energy essential to its continued growth and development.
Okay. So I would like to finish showing this last slide, which represents our global service network and spare parts availability. We count with over 1,100 service partners around the world, including here in Greece. And so we have a 24/7 support. Thank you very much once again, UTECO, for this invitation to come here to present. And if you have any questions, I'm available. Thank you.